Candace Owens, Narcissist or Something Else, Part 8. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor, continuing an analysis of Candace Owens by looking at material over a sustained period of time. Indeed, I have been examining material over the last 20 years in relation to her behaviour, comments and conduct. It's drawn from a multitude of different sources, her interviews, her own shows, commentary about her, to provide an extensive set of pieces of information from which indicators can be drawn to form a view about which category she sits in relation to narcissist, narcissistic, normal, or empath. It's worth reiterating for those who are hard of understanding that the analysis isn't about whether this person is a good person or a bad person. You can form your own view as to whether the subject is that. It's about a categorization in respect of narcissism being narcissistic, a normal, or an empath. The foundation classifications that I utilize on this channel to help people understand more about human behavior, and in particular in relation to narcissism. It's evident that a small number of people are struggling to grasp that fact. Now, let's turn to what people have had to say about Candace Owens. Let's kick off with El Presidente, the Donald. In 2018, during a White House meeting with Turning Point USA leaders, which included Candace Owens, where it was highlighting her role in conservative youth outreach and her shift from liberal to conservative activism, Trump said about her, "Candace is incredible. She is a very smart thinker." Kanye West tweeted about Candace Owens in April 2018 amid his public embrace of conservative ideas, crediting Owens, whom he later collaborated with, for her bold challenges to mainstream narratives on race and politics. He stated, "I love the way Candace Owens thinks." Ronna McDaniel, the former RNC chair, stated, "People like Candace Owens, like Charlie Kirk, we need more leaders like that." This praise was issued at the 2019 Conservative Political Action Conference, praising Owens' campus tours with Turning Point USA and her efforts to engage young conservatives, especially black voters. Donald Trump Jr., businessman and political commentator, tweeted in 2018, after Owens testified before Congress on black conservatism, he stated, "Candace Owens just called out the Dems on their purposeful manipulation of facts for the narrative." He was defending her against Ted Lieu's selective video clip of her comments on Republic racism. Stephen A. Smith, an ESPN host and commentator, shared an observation in March 2025 where he was reflecting on a personal conversation with Candace Owens and remarking on her rising influence in media debates on culture and politics. He stated, "When that young lady speaks, don't even think about challenging her intelligence. Don't even think about challenging her ability to articulate her point of view. You better know what the hell you're talking about when you come at her. Candace Owens, she's not going anywhere." Ben Shapiro, a conservative commentator and Daily Wire co-founder, hired Owens in 2020. He called her a powerful voice and promoting her show as essential for conservative media. He said this during the launch of her Daily Wire podcast in March 2021. He praised her unapologetic style in internal announcements and public clips, emphasizing her role in diversifying conservative viewpoints. Charlie Kirk, in 2018, whilst touring college campuses with Candace Owens, credited her with energizing conservative youth and countering left-wing identity politics during Turning Point USA events. He said, "Candace Owens is a force of nature, one of the most dynamic speakers we've ever had. Tucker Carlson, the Fox News host, compared Owens to Galileo, saying her willingness to challenge powerful interests makes her a brave truth teller. He said this in a 2024 segment on his show, and he defended her amid her feud with Daily Wire colleagues, lauding her biblical references and anti-establishment stance as heroic. Alex Jones, the InfoWars host, Candace Owens is a red-pilled warrior. She's exposing the globalist lies like no one else. He praised her in his 2017 and 2018 YouTube videos after her red-pilled black content went viral, highlighting her early critiques of Black Lives Matter and liberal media as aligning with his oriented worldview. Dennis Prager, the PragerU founder, Prager featured her in multiple PragerU videos starting in 2017, commending her articulate takedowns of victimhood culture in educational content aimed at countering progressive indoctrination. He said, Candace Owens brings fire and clarity to conservative principles that young people need to hear. Roseanne Barr tweeted in 2018, during Owens' rise, connecting it to their shared support for Trump and criticism of Hollywood's liberal bias, by stating Candace Owens is the future of America, smart, fearless, and unbuyable. Larry Elder, a radio host and filmmaker, he stated in a 29 interview on his Salem radio show, praising her book Blackout and her arguments against democratic plantation politics as echoing his own long-standing views, and stated, Candace Owens is a breath of fresh air in black conservatism, brilliant and unafraid. Dinesh D'Souza, a filmmaker and author, wrote in a 2020 tweet endorsing her Daily Wire show, linking it to their joint appearances at conservative events like CPAC. He stated, Candace Owens is a phenomenal talent who dismantles leftist myths with precision and passion. Dana White, the UFC president, made this comment during his guest appearance on her podcast in 2021, where he admired her resilience in media battles and drawing parallels to fighters in the UFC who defy odds. Candace Owens is tough as nails, loves freedom, and calls out BS like a champ. P. Ray, a Chicago conservative activist, in a November 2025 X post, Ray credited Owens' Blexit initiative with destigmatizing conservatism for black voters, claiming it helped prevent a Kamala Harris presidency by mobilizing urban outreach, and stated Candace Owens has done more to advance the conservative movement than anybody else in America. A range of praise there for Candace Owens, identifying intelligence, motivation, dedication, and resilience as key components of what she does. The question becomes, what drives those factors in Candace Owens that people recognise that she has these good qualities? Naturally, as a polarising figure, there will be those that are detractors of Candace Owens, seeing her as an individual who is deliberately provocative, divisive, and in some instances will call her deluded and somebody that agitates. Others who align with her views are more likely to see her as somebody that is identifying lies that have been told by the mainstream media, that she is a pursuer of the truth. What is interesting, of course, is to determine what drives those qualities that she has. Are they driven by the fact that she might be a narcissist, and therefore, when she perceives a view to not align with her own, that threatens her need for control, and thus galvanizes her to seek out her particular truth, that she is resilient to criticism because it threatens her need for control, that she utilizes her obvious intelligence in order to propagate her views because it enables her to achieve control and fuel. Alternatively, might it be that this is because she genuinely cares, that she has a huge truth-seeker trait driven by empathic qualities? Might it be that she feels a strong sense of justice in relation to the misinformation that has been fed by certain quarters, and deems that it's her own personal mission, to do something about it, that she genuinely cares, that she's not driven by self-interest, but is actually driven by a desire to cause people to think differently, to allow them to understand that they have been fed lies, and that her need to find the truth, her sense of justice, her sense of compassion for other people, causes this to occur. This is why it's so important to ensure that we look at plenty of evidence in relation to this individual over a sustained period of time, and not to prejudge until all of the relevant parts have been considered. It's also important, as I point out, that dependent on perspective, you can look at the way that she behaves in a particular way. But I want people to strip that away, to get rid of that perspective and consider what are the motivations for the behaviour based on the evidence. Not whether you like or dislike this individual. That is not relevant to the question of what she is. After all, there are plenty of narcissists that you can dislike, and there are plenty of narcissists that you can like. There are empathic individuals that you can like, but there are others that you can also dislike. The point is, this is not driven by your personal preference, it's driven by what the evidence says in relation to the way that that person has behaved. And here we have just heard plenty of evidence praising her, smart, fearless, unbuyable, exposing the globalist lies like no one else, a brave truth teller, a force of nature. All of this high praise indeed, but we're looking to get behind what is driving her behaviours that causes her to receive such praise. We're going to be considering yet more of the evidence in the next part as we continue to accumulate the various indicators and consider that it could lead one way or the other, and to keep an open mind about what she might be rather than prejudging. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.